So, my final video for this evening is to talk about the high school student Andrew Johnson, who was forced to cut his dreadlocks off in order to compete in a wrestling competition. His referee is the New Jersey school. The referee basically gave him two options: either cut your dreadlocks off or you have to forfeit the game. Those were the only two options he had. And unfortunately, he chose to cut his locks off. And I'm about to show you the video right now. What really disturbed me about this whole incident is there is blatant anti-blackness being shown here, and yet nobody seems to be speaking about that. As far as a certain demographic don't seem to be wanting to speak about that. However, if you are not foolish, then you will see it. The guy who broke the story was a white man. I've forgotten his name. He's a news reporter, and he basically posted a video, and he said that Andrew Johnson was a great team player, and it was a good thing for him to cut his locks off. First of all, locks are not just something to play with. Seriously, it's not. How do we not know that Andrew isn't a Rastafarian? Like, how do we not know that? Or like his family? Instead, we just assume that it's just the locks are just there for decoration. My problem is there has always been anti-blackness linked to wearing your hair in that style. For some people, it's also a way of life. They wear their hair like that for a reason. And for some person to come say, well, you cannot be involved in this wrestling match unless you cut your locks off is ridiculous, or you can forfeit the game. Like, why on earth would you say that? Why on earth would you say that to him? And it's unfortunate because he actually did go ahead and cut his locks off. We saw a white woman cutting his locks off, and I was just like, you could see the defeat in his face. He looked so broken down. I mean, the guy is clearly a child. He looked so broken down, and this is what white supremacy is all about: breaking down our black children. And that is exactly what happened to him. He succumbed to pressure. It's basically what it was. And I know some people are going to be like, well, oh, he should have stood firm. But let's keep it 100. How many of you can honestly say that you, as a person of his age, was able to articulate your feelings and was also able to stand strong? I know I wasn't at that age. I most certainly would have crumbled just like he did. So I place no blame on him at all. What I place blame on is that referee. That referee had no business telling him he needs to cut his locks. And that wasn't even his first wrestling match. He'd done other wrestling matches before. So why was that the first one where the referee was like, oh, you know what, you gotta cut those locks off? Like, why is it a problem? Why was it a problem? It literally don't make no bitter sense for you to come and sit there, have all these wrestling matches, and then he says to you, well, oh, now it's a problem, your locks are a problem, you need to cut them off, otherwise you cannot play the match. Like, he couldn't just tie them behind his head. Besides, they were quite short anyway. They weren't that long, so it's not like it was going to cause that big a deal. But this is exactly what I'm saying. It was racism, it was discrimination, and it was anti-blackness, and nobody can't tell me that it was none of those three things at all. You cannot tell me this black child, yeah, had to suffer the embarrassment of having his precious hair cut off. And you know how powerful locks are to people who have them. And for those white people who are leaving racist comments talking about, well, I had to have my hair cut off when I was doing a job, that's not even the same thing. Nobody gives a shit about your fucking hair. Okay, nobody gives a shit. Because nobody's going to say that you cutting your hair off is anti-white. So hush, please. But there is forever an anti-blackness when it comes to a black person's hair. You have to wear it. You have to wear it straight because your hair completely natural is a problem. You see, this is why sales of relaxer was so huge, because people said, you know what, you either relax your hair or you wear a weave or something, but you cannot come to work with your hair in an afro or whatever, because an afro is seen as too militant, and dreadlocks are also seen as militant, and that's the other side of the coin that people don't want to talk about. Dreadlocks are also seen as militant. And I'm not buying this whole nonsense about this referee was just saying, oh, it was all for the game. No, it wasn't. You wanted him to cut his locks off because you absolutely hated it. So let's keep it real 100. I know why you did it. And apparently this referee, this is not his first incident of racism either. He's done other racist things. And apparently he has been benched now, this referee, so he can't play in other game. He can't be involved in other games. Now we shall see how this turns out. But however, what is going to happen to Andrew Johnson, the child who had to suffer? What is going to happen to him? Is he going to have to go through therapy? Because he literally, like, if you watch the video, he honestly looked like he was about to cry. Like, I'm not even joking. He looked like he was broken down, and we all know that pain of being broken down, especially as a black person. We all know that pain. So Andrew, I stand strong beside you, brother. Like, don't let them in here. Don't let them in your mind, because once they're in there, it's difficult to get them out. And I understand. I don't blame you at all for why you chose to concede to getting your locks cut off. I don't blame you at all, because I know the pressure behind that was great. Okay, so stay strong and stay black. All right, bye.